Hi, I'm Felipa. Today is November 9th, 2025, and I'm officially on day 70 out of 365 of reading this Bible and on the first book of Kings. So, we have finished up yesterday with the consequence of David's sin and the plague that came upon Israel. And now we start with Adonijah, David's favorite son, who tries to overtake the kingdom. And he tries to rally the people, but then, so there's essentially like two factions. So Adonijah confers with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and Abither, the priest, to help him out, while it says Nathan and Bathsheba go and tell David about what Adonijah is doing behind his back, and Bathsheba says that it should be her son Solomon, who is the next descendant. And so basically they go and tell David. David is saying, okay, let's get ahead of this. And he basically anoints Solomon as king at his command. And David is really very close to dying. So this is why it's important. And so anyways, all these troops and people go out before all the people of Israel. And they make an announcement with a trumpet that God saved King Solomon. And so he's now the king. And Adonijah pleads for mercy from Solomon because he finds out that Solomon has been made king and he doesn't want to get punished for trying to, take over the kingdom. And so Solomon grants him mercy and says, go to your house. So then we continue on and just basically says Solomon succeeds as king and he marries the Pharaoh's daughter. And interestingly, Solomon actually asks here, he says he talks to God and he says, instead of asking for like riches and things like that, he actually says, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, thy so great a people? So he's really like realizing, there's so many people that I need to judge. Like, how could I possibly do this? Can you please give me the ability to do that? And God answers back and says, because thou hast asked this thing and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart. Plus, he says, I'll also give you riches and honor, and there's never going to be a king like you just because you didn't ask for those things. So Solomon asks for wisdom, and he receives it. And very interestingly here too, in chapter 3, verse 28, it says, and all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw the vision of God was in him to do judgment. So this is really an interesting piece here too, basically saying, how people at that time would realize that it was powerful if you were the type of individual who had the ability to discern judgment accurately. So that was a very powerful thing to do. And it was something that people looked upon, almost like being educated, but it was seen as God being with you. And the reason why that verse is said here is because there was a situation here called Solomon's wise judgment, where two women were in a house. They both had a child. One of them had the baby pass away. The other one didn't. In the middle of the night, the one who still had the baby says that the one who lost her baby switched out the dead baby for the live one. And they both came before Solomon to say, each accusing the other, saying, no, it's my baby. No, it's my baby. And so his judgment was, okay, well, take a sword and split the baby in half. And the one woman, the one who had lost her child had said, yeah, sure, whatever. But the one who was the actual mother who didn't lose her child said, no, please don't do that. Save my baby. I don't care. Like, give it to her as long as it's alive. And so clearly it was the mother who's trying to preserve her child. That was the one whose child was still alive. And that was his judgment. And so he actually gives that child back. He gives the baby back to the mother, to the actual mother. And this is why Israel thinks he has a very good judgment. And then there's an outline here of the princes and the officers. And pretty much that is it. Just says God gave Solomon wisdom and an understanding exceeding much, and that he spoke a lot of proverbs. It says he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spoke about many things, including trees and things of the earth, and many people came to hear the wisdom of Solomon. So that is it for day 70 out of the 365 days of reading this Bible, and tomorrow is November 10th, and I will let you know what I find out after I read chapter 5. King Hiram of Tyre supplies timber for the temple. Thank you for listening.